Look at this. It just had snow. Of course it had the snow. Honestly, I don't mind the snow, but still, it's cold and we had like 50-degree weather this week. But anyway, it's really, really cold, so we're gonna go back to bed. So I really don't have a kettle pot or a teapot to make tea with. So I usually just use a pot and then boil some water, and usually that works. I know some of you will dislike me for that, but hey, it's what I got. So a little bit about today. I thought we could go through some of my training videos, understand where I'm going in my journey, some of the fun things I like to do, but first, while this settles, let's get some homework done. Well, took long enough. Tea's done. That's good. Let me know if you have anything to make the tea taste any sweeter. I still don't like tea, but I'm gonna drink it anyways because it's cold. Alright, what is up, you guys? I am back. So, here to talk a little bit about my journey. I originally started in October of 2018. The reason I started is because when I looked in the mirror in October, I saw a freshman gut. And like at first I thought it was a myth, and this was when I was at Northwest College, and I looked in the mirror and it's like, oh, this is what I meant. This is what they meant, because from that, like, as soon as I got into the dorms, my diet wasn't good. I was drinking a bunch of Dr. Pepper. I would have a case of Dr. Pepper for at least 2 days, a bunch of oatmeal, and I don't know, just sweets and stuff. And yeah, it was really hard to get into a different motion. But I think at that point I started watching Dragon Ball Z, and that was when I was like, oh, okay, I kind of want this physique now. So Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, along with a bunch of benefactors. Like, I started listening to Arnold Schwarzenegger, his bodybuilding journey, and along with Ronnie Coleman, and it gradually progressed from there. So I hopped around from gym to gym, depending on if I was in Cody or Powell. I originally found a good one in Cody, and that's when I met one of my trainers, Bo, who actually convinced me to do strongman. Now, I've never done strongman, I've never touched it. This is 2021, and in my head I'm thinking, I'm a bodybuilder trying to be a powerlifter, and if you see the strongman, like, oh my god, like, they are gigantic, and some of the stuff that they lift is actually kind of scary. But my first competition was the Celtic Bison Strongman in 2021. It was held in Cheyenne. This event was funded by ATPR Training, and this was a really good event. Honestly, even though I was so nervous, everyone helped me enough to where I could improve and progress. It honestly felt like a big giant family, and everyone was just welcoming me in. So it's really nice. They taught me how to lift stones, how to lift a keg, the proper form to deadlift for a silver dollar deadlift, and eventually I took that and I entered in the novice category, and I made my way to second place, and honestly that felt really good. But right now we're going to talk about last year. So last year's competitions I did, originally I tried to do 3 competitions a year, but this time I only did 2. My first one is Denver, which I will show you right now. When you're gonna stop breaking my heart, I don't wanna be another one, praying for the things I never done. that was my first heavyweight competition, and it was really heavy, lots of heavyweight. And honestly, after the first two events, it was like, I don't know if I can keep going. My body hurts, everything is aching. This is partially due to me increasing weight as I kept progressing in strongman. I would have to move up weight classes and I would compete, and my body wasn't ready or able yet, or my conditioning was off, and it really put a stress on my body. After that competition, I left thinking like, this really hurts. Like I really want to stop this. Like my back hurts, I'm in pain, and it was a long recovery process. I took a month and a half to recover because we did a giant yoke frame, and the lightest yoke I've ever done is 550, and the one we did at comp was 850 pounds, and this was at 235-pound body weight. So it took a heavy toll on me, both physically and mentally. But overall, I didn't want to give up. You know, I still had the goal. My goal is to reach or obtain my pro card by 2024, 25, because I felt like that was a decent goal since I started in 2021. So originally I registered for the next Celtic Bison Strongman, but here's the funny story. So when I was preparing for it, this is sometime in summer, I'm working at a daycare. I thought the competition event was on a Saturday, but apparently it was on a Friday, and I didn't check. And at work, I asked for that Friday off so I could rest and recover for the competition. Later that night, as I'm preparing for the competition in the morning, I start looking at the events, seeing what I got to do, and the scores are listed. And it's like, oh, well, this is this is nice. And it was a big downfall. Like, I was really excited for that competition. I felt like I was ready, even after the recovery process. But I guess the universe is just telling me to wait a little bit longer. So after listening to the universe, I decided to wait. After listening to the universe, I finally decided to wait, and I started putting my time and progression into the next competition, which was in Montana. Now, I love competing in Montana. The guys up there, they're so nice, so strong. They really have a good family up there. And it's just a really fun place to be, fun people to be around. Seeing as how I couldn't compete in the summer, and I missed out on that opportunity, I decided to enter into another competition, which would be in Montana. I definitely love competing in Montana. The people are great. My friends up there are great. Everyone is really super helpful. And I honestly took a different path to my training method. I decided to look more at like, which body part should I focus on? Is this more upper body associated? Is it more lower body? Or how much cardio or endurance am I gonna need to get my body fully prepped and prepared? And so I took that into corporation, and I slowly began building. I focused on my diet, I focused on training, because in my mindset, I wanted to get back into training for longevity. I want to be able to do this when I'm still 70. that's the goal. So here's a quick peek.
Yeah, straight A student, but I'm friends with the cool kids. Following the rules and the rubric. Freestyle on the bus and it's too lit. Everybody like, hold down, who's this? Raising the stakes like Roos Chris. Clockwork, how I shine like Kubrick. Yeah, I heard what you got with the music.
Competition, it literally was similar to the one in Denver. It took everything from me, both physically and mentally. The first event was shoulder press, which I felt like I did that pretty good. The second event would eventually be deadlift. Now, during my warm-ups, I actually tweaked my back, and this is right before we do deadlifts, and I'm right there on the floor. I'm trying to stretch it out as much as I can, and the amount of pain that I felt was horrible, and it was not fun or enjoyable. But you know, I had to make a decision. It's like I drove 12 hours to compete. I wanted to get a national spot or podium spot. So it's like, am I really gonna give up now? I eventually pulled through. I lifted 600 pounds. I tried for 650, but I couldn't get it. And there was a decent amount of time between equipment change. So I had like roughly 60, 75 minutes. And I used that time to pound a bunch of electrolytes and just try to stretch out my back as much as I could. I did a bunch of high knees, and they had this weird one. It's kind of like no, I wouldn't say it's like a hip abductor. It's kind of like where you swing your legs and you go back and forth. But overall, I kept pushing forward. I kept going, even though my back was in pain. The scariest one I'd say would be squats. I didn't know how my back was gonna end up doing the squats. But eventually it did pretty good because I managed to beat the person in first place and I kept going. The one thing, so at the end of this competition, I heard the announcer there said, "Can we have James Hammond and Nicole Brown please come up to the front?" And my immediate word was no. No, because in strongman, since there's only first, second, third place at the event, there automatically has to be a tiebreaker, even though on the online site it'll say that you tied. I didn't want to do the tiebreaker, but I eventually ended up doing the tiebreaker and I ended up getting 1 minute and 4 seconds from hanging from a pull-up bar. And in my head, I was like, I've already won. I've already got my spot for nationals. I'm really hungry and my back hurts. I want to go home. So I eventually dropped, giving James Hammond the win. But I was really proud of myself, and it took a lot, but I was really happy and I was excited. And later on, I registered for nationals, and nationals is in 2 months currently. Nationals will be in June 8th, so I'm definitely excited to go there. But so overall, have a nice day. Stay strong.
It's a trap!